started right out with the video, Steven. Well, hey there, race fans. This is Brian Smith. I'm Shelly Liskey, and this is the Last Lap Live. I didn't realize we were going to start right out with the video here, but
last week.
Did we? Yeah, I guess we did last week. But so if you don't know, Trails End Custom is my brother Todd, and he goes around and just tries to shoot some different stuff at the races so that the fans that are sitting in the stands, they can see some of the stuff that goes on early in the night. And then Michael Goldsby does our highlight videos that we're playing before the commercials and stuff. But this will just give you an idea of what's going on back there, and the cars as they're firing motors. And there's Brian Sabito actually working on his race car. They were putting a blanket on the motor because it was cold.
He's giving orders. Oh, was he doing that?
Yeah. It was cold that night.
It was cold, windy again.
Yep, I was kind of bummed. It was so nice the week before, and then come back and have to wear 3 layers of clothes.
It's looking like this weekend might shape up to be the same. Nice, warm Friday night, and another cold.
Yep, somewhere in the 50s.
Cooler Saturday. Yep.
Still better to be at the racetrack though in the 50s than it is.
Oh, definitely.
Through the winter that we had.
Yeah.
Hey, I like that race car right there. It's probably my favorite.
That is a nice looking car.
We had another good night. Started out. It was actually kind of a long day. We started out with they had free camping across the street, and then we had a great turnout for the Easter egg hunt.
We had a turnout.
We definitely had a turnout, so that was interesting. The Easter Bunny was there all day taking a bunch of pictures and stuff, so the kids like that.
Yeah, I think the Easter Bunny saved the day. I was telling you earlier, without the Easter Bunny, I probably would have been strung up out in the parking lot. I way underestimated. Honestly, it was something that we came up with later in the week, and just thought it was a good idea to tie in with the free camping being Saturday night. Was the night before Easter, and there was going to be people out there with kids, and I didn't realize that the Sandusky Register printed something about it, and people were like pulling in droves, and I was in sheer panic.
Yeah.
Like before it even started. So the Easter Bunny was there, and
yeah, I think it turned out great. There were a lot of happy kids. There were some unhappy parents, but there was a lot of happy kids. So.
At the end of the day, it was done with good intentions.
Right.
So.
That's all that matters. And like I said, there was a lot of happy kids that got some candy there. So it had another great crowd. And I was surprised for the way the temperature was. That
I was a little concerned early on. Of course, after qualifying, the stands really filled up,
right.
And because I was a little, like, oh, this is a tough crowd tonight. But it really, people came out. As it got colder, more people came, which was really backwards to me. But yeah, it was a good night.
Trying to get together and stay warm. There's one of your feature winners. There was Christopher Bell. And it was nice to see him at the racetrack. Got to talk to him a little bit.
Nice kid. Isn't he a nice kid?
Very level-headed, very calm, cool, collected. Acts way older than he is.
I was surprised over at the pit booth. I went over and worked the early part over there with the girls to make sure I caught all the fast memberships to get them. Because Saturday night was the last night and when he signed in, I was really surprised.
I'd seen somewhere that he was going to come over and run the Fox 53 after running Granite City the night before with the Keith Coon's car. It was their initial outing in a wing car. Keith usually wrenches on midgets and
right.
champ cars and sprint cars and that sort of thing, all non-wing with USAC, and put together a wing car. Had a very good car and was running away with it. I guess an oil line came off. And Christopher was telling me that he was trying to talk Keith into bringing it over here and running Fremont and Attica, but he was a little more comfortable at Granite City. So maybe with Chris coming over here and winning, he can talk Keith into coming over and running sometime.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's fun to watch. I was telling you, he's one of those guys buzz around the top, live and die up there.
Right.
Yep.
Jimmy Colvin came back after a terrible crash at the beginning of the feature last week. Came back and won had a pretty good battle with John Ivey. So
for a minute, he was good.
Yep.
He was really good. When you got Ivey up there racing with you, and John knows his way around Fremont. Not that Jimmy doesn't, but he just drove away from it.
Did a good job holding him off. And then Sean Valeni had a battle with Dustin Keegan there for a little while, and then Dustin had a little trouble in turn 3 and 4 there, and Sean drove away. But
I didn't get to see it because I did hear it going over the Brian Liskey was announcing, and it looked like at the end Dustin ended up coming back and finishing like 6th or something. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere 5th or 6th
something
right
happened
in
there because it seemed like
he
they were
just
battling.
got a little loose coming out of 4 and just about spun it out, but saved it and then hung in there. I wanted to mention here at the beginning, the track photographer now is Chris Gilbert. The CJ CJGilbertPhotography.com is where you can find all the photos from Fremont Speedway, and he's got a few from Attica.
He's got a really nice deal too. If you don't know it, Chris has a printer set up down there, and he'll print anything for you. He's been there, till I'm getting ready to leave on Saturday nights, and me and Farmer are usually the last people, other than the trash pickup people.
Right.
And Chris will print any picture that you want right there.
Yeah, you can get an 8x10 right there in a matter of minutes.
I walk out at the end of the night with our feature winner pictures for our sponsors and stuff, and I think that's a good deal. He's, that people can just come up and get what they want and walk out with it.
Right. Yeah. He said things have been going pretty well. He's selling 4x6s for $1.
Yeah.
And that's tough to beat. And then 8x10s are only $5. So you get a nice 8x10.
And they're really good pictures. If you haven't checked them out, go down and check them out, because he does a really nice job.
Right. I agree. So I want to make sure I mention him. He's also got a sticker on my race car too. So throw that out there. So we've got Keith Sorg tonight, one of our truck racers. Stuart Brubaker, one of our 410 drivers, and our legend tonight is Joe Keegan. And Joe Keegan is added to the list of this amazing list of legends we have here for the race on June 7th.
Getting down to the end there.
Yeah, I don't know how many we got left, but
after tonight, there'll only be 2 open spots. We'll have announced 22.
Okay, so we have 2 more legends though that we are going to announce?
We do.
All right, that'll be next week then.
Actually, we have 3 tonight.
3 tonight?
3 tonight, and then there'll be 2 next week. That should be the full field.
So, what, did I read that wrong? I think I wrote down the wrong ones. Which legends you got there? You better announce the 3 legends here.
Rodney Duncan.
Okay, Rodney Duncan.
Larry Hollywood Helms.
All right.
And Ed Hudenshield.
Okay,
will be our
there you
next
go.
3.
So 2 weeks ago, I think I mentioned something about maybe 3 weeks ago, Brad Hudenshield would come out of the woodwork, and you thought maybe I left one out of the bag, but
I thought I did, because I said Ed's name out loud.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no, where did that come from?
Yeah, we wanted to wait and kind of let them out on time, but that'll be neat to see Ed racing again. From what I hear, he was better than Jack.
I've heard the same thing.
So that's what everybody says.
And he's real modest. If you talk to Ed, he doesn't really talk about himself or his racing stuff, and
we're gonna have to try and get him on the show.
Yeah,
somewhere
he's a lot
around
of fun.
there. So that'd be neat to see. Larry Helms, if you don't know, is he's at the racetrack all the time. He put up the billboard or the posts for the scoreboard and all that stuff. Actually, was out there one day trying to get the old ones off after the storm knocked them down. But he drove my car last year in a match race against Farmer, which the only time I've ever been that nervous was when my brother was driving it, to see Larry out there racing my car against Rich. It wasn't Larry I was worried about, it was Rich.
Because you never really know what's going on.
Right, exactly. Always wide open, always on the gas.
I was in the announcer's booth that night, and I know that there was a pretty big distance between them there, and I had him throw a caution for debris on the track, because I couldn't come up with anything else, and boy, I caught the devil about that.
Yeah, well, Larry won that race.
He did.
So we got to make sure that the last race that Larry Helms was in, he won, so he should be one of the favorites going into this Legends race. We're going to go ahead and take our first break. I think we're going to have the 410 highlights from this past Saturday, and then we'll come back with Keith Sorg.
Drop the pedal out of turn 4, green out. Christopher Bell sets sail out front. Craig Minson to second. Bell hung up in lap traffic, goes underneath Mike Linder, muscles his way underneath Linder. Lap car, he'll put him a lap down. Jack Kemenow down to the inside of Craig Mintz. Throw a blanket on the top 3 down to complete lap number 10. Battle for 4th. Brock Martin and Caleb Helms. Here comes Kemenow again to the inside of Mintz. Chad Kemenow into 2nd. Mintz back to 3rd.
When it's time to say goodbye to your current vehicle, hop online to BaumanAutoGroup.com or visit the Bauman dealership nearest you. We've been serving the people of Ohio since 1956. With over 800 pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles of every make and model at our 6 locations across northern Ohio, finding your next vehicle is easy. And if the vehicle you like isn't nearby, we can bring it to the Bauman store nearest you. Or shop online 24/7 at BaumanAutoGroup.com. Then visit the Bauman dealership in your town. Bauman won't be beat.
Welcome back to the Last Lap Live. I'm Brian Smith. That's Shelly Lisguy, and this is our first guest tonight, truck racer in the Sword Racing number 4S, Keith Sword. Welcome to the show, Keith.
Thank you.
Hopefully you're comfortable enough in the couch there.
Yeah, it's nicer than when I got at home.
Is it?
Yeah.
We figured out that the two sides are the most comfortable, so we put the guests in the middle because we
They
get to
are.
sit
They
the
just
longest.
kind of like suck you right up. That one's
Look
a little
broken.
stiffer.
Yeah, then we must be a little heavier then, I guess, to break that in.
Yeah.
So, we're using this show so that people can kind of learn more about the drivers and not just what they see on the racetrack. You know, all the people that watch the trucks, they know that, you know, the 4S is Keith Sorg and the old one is Art Ball and all that stuff. But we kind of want to, you know, find out more about you, you know, see what you do for a living, see if you got kids, see what your other hobbies are and that kind of stuff. So that's mainly what we talk about here. But we can talk about the racing.
Okay.
You raced last week and then this week, and you were talking about having some gremlins with the truck.
Yeah, we got a fuel problem. We just can't find it, so hopefully my dad's got it found this week for us.
How complex is that fuel system?
Not really.
Not really.
No.
So, has it got to be like a carburetor or a filter or some kind of?
We got a new carburetor coming, a new fuel pump coming, put new fuel line on it from front to back. So hopefully.
It'll probably be something real small. You'll
Yeah.
replace all this stuff and it'll be something real, like
Yeah.
staring you in the face.
It's always the last thing that
Yeah.
you look for.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this racing thing? How long have you been racing trucks?
I think I got I think it's my 5th season.
5th season.
Mm-hmm.
Do you race at both Attica and Fremont? I only ask because I don't get to make Attica a whole
Yeah,
lot.
run both tracks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Any preference?
I like them both.
Just like to race?
Yeah.
That was a good politically correct answer.
You don't necessarily have to do that. You know,
No,
it's on the internet. You
no.
can say anything you want.
Exactly.
Last year you ran the number 95
Yeah.
Lightning McQueen looking truck,
Yeah.
which was a fan favorite, the kid favorite.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I like that too when the first time I saw it. That was a pretty neat deal. You went back to the 4S this year though?
Yeah.
Is that a family number or?
No, my dad ran 4X, so I just put the S instead of the X.
Alright.
Just kind of keep the 4 going.
So, and your dad now, is he racing anymore at all or is he just an owner on the Matt Foose Deuce is what I heard it called the other
Black
day?
Deuce.
Yeah.
He's going to run next year, I think.
Is he?
That's his plans. Yeah.
Maddie's gonna run it this year. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, we were trying to find out something about you, so I jumped on a Ninja and headed down to the shop yesterday, and I didn't see anybody around, but there's another truck sitting next to the garage. Is that another one that's going together, or?
It's being tossed up around. We don't
How
know.
old's your oldest?
My oldest
You
boy?
have 4 boys.
My oldest is 5, going on
Oh,
6
so that's
next
not
month.
an option.
Yeah, must
I was wondering if that was
No.
why it was sitting there.
Yeah.
It's just spare.
Just a spare?
Yeah.
It won't be something that your dad would put together to race and have all
No.
3 trucks?
I don't think so. He's got his hands full with 2 of them right now.
Is he the main wrench on
Yeah.
both trucks then?
Yep. Does all the hard work for us.
You spend much time down there
Oh
working
yeah.
on them? Or?
Oh yeah, about 3-4 days a week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's it take, obviously from the sprint car side, and let the people at home know what's it take to operate a truck and race it? I mean, you guys are normally one night a week, but a lot of times you're running 2 times a week with Attica too. What does it take to put it together financially, time-wise, work-wise? What does it take to do that?
It's just a lot of work. I mean, we can't open a book and buy a lot of our parts. We gotta make a lot of our stuff. So you break something or this, and that, you gotta make it. You can get the motor stuff and some of the suspension stuff, but as far as everything else, we make it. And money, I don't know. That's my dad's side of the deal.
That's good. Somebody else is taking care of that.
Yeah.
The way to do it.
Yeah, it's always good to race on other people's money. I'm learning that now that I just bought my team out from Kid Henry this summer or this winter. Now I'm on that end of it. But what kind of stuff are you having to build? Like a weekly deal. What kind of maintenance and stuff do you do during the week?
Mainly nuts and bolts, look for broke welds or body mounts, and kick out dents.
You spend much time putting on new body panels and that kind of stuff, or can you normally
No, that's just winter time.
just wintertime
Straighten them out and reuse them.
beat them back out?
Yeah.
Are when you say you're looking for parts, you can't open up a book. Are parts getting harder now? As
As far as
to find-
stock parts, yeah.
yeah, you used to be able to like
Yeah,
go
just-
to somewhere and get them, and
Yeah.
I wonder. I hear a lot of people. I like classic cars, and I know you used to be able to go out and get parts for things at junkyards and stuff, but you can't find parts like that anymore.
Are there many direct racing parts, or is it still a lot of? I don't know how the truck rules are, so I'm
Mhm.
going to learn now. But do you have to like strengthen the stock parts there? Are there some racing parts that you can get off like E-mods or that kind of stuff?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can get the stuff off the E-mods and stuff. We used to run strictly stock, the suspension and all that, but the A-frames and stuff are getting harder to come by, and when we ran them, we would stiffen them up.
What let's see. I'm not sure what I want to ask him here. Tell me a little bit about the racing. What does it mean to you to be able to go out there and race every week?
Yeah, just something to do, and it's fun. You're around a bunch of good people. Just all around fun, I guess.
Is it something?
I'm sorry. Does the family go with you? I know we said you had 4 kids, and I'm assuming if the oldest is 5, I can do the math there. They're pretty little.
Yeah. Well, the other one, the 4th one, he's 7, and I got 5, 4, and 2.
So do they go and watch? Or
Yeah, they was there opening night.
So your wife has her hands full.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good woman taking little ones when it's cold.
Yeah, for sure.
Is this something that you always wanted to do since you're little? How long did your dad race? Did he just start racing with the trucks, or did he race something before that?
No, he ran enduro cars and then went to stock cars. Then he was Albert for I think 10 or 11 years, then got into a truck.
Did you do karting or anything, or did you jump right into the
He
truck?
jumped right into the truck, first thing I ever drove.
And you're gonna stay in the trucks, you think?
Yeah, as long as my dad lets me.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you're not tearing the truck up too much, he doesn't have to do too much work.
And you're still having fun,
Yeah.
because sometimes that fun level goes. It's a Brian Smith rule from here to here, from here to here.
Yeah, that's something talking about
That
something
is-
totally different.
Well, now that we bring that up, your group qualifying now.
Yeah.
You used to pill draw.
Mhm.
I know we try not to open
Making
it.
Steven laugh over there.
Yeah. What do you think of it? Do you like it? Is it?
I don't mind it. I mean, it ain't nothing different. The track's a little better during the beginning of the night.
Do you feel you're benefiting from it more than like a pill draw?
Yeah, I guess, because you're running the car a little harder than you would just in hot laps, just to be out there, so.
Yeah. I just wondered how other people. I know from a fan perspective, it's been a little tough to grasp or get excited about, but I know they did it as for the drivers to try to benefit you guys and give you something other than just drawing out of a bingo box every night. I just was curious how.
It's like the elephant in the room here. I'm so against it, so that we try not to bring it up a whole lot.
And I'm pimping him
But,
here, and he's not even.
Yeah, she is. She's trying. My description is that it's a crap program. So no matter what you do to try and make it better, it only gets the crap. It never gets better. That's just my opinion. Not everybody
Things went
holds
a
that
lot
opinion.
smoother.
Yeah.
I believe, Stephen, you were in the announcer's booth. Things went smoother
Yeah.
this week. The opening week was
Chaos.
ouch. It was tough for me to watch, and I like qualifying. I'm one of those people that go. But then group qualifying is a whole different totally thing. But thanks for answering that, because I was just curious what a driver thought of it in that division.
You've got 4 kids and a wife now. Next week is the fan week. Are they going to dress up in Sorg outfits with signs and all that kind
A
of stuff?
Sorg
And
I
section.
guess we'll see what the weather does on that one.
do you have a Sorg section up there? I mean, do you have other family members that come and
Yeah, they're always down in turn 1 when they're there.
turn one? So that's where
Oh,
we do it.
that's that
Mhm.
diehard group down there, because turn 1 isn't the most comfortable place to
No.
watch.
No.
I went down there just to get away the other night during the feature, and it's just not.
See, I always sit like just past the flag stand when I go up there and watch.
I went all the
Basically
way
below
down.
the booth.
I went all the way down, and it was I watched like this because it was pretty.
Must have been pretty far down there.
Yeah, I was way down. Yeah.
You a fan of other racing?
No, not really. No,
Not
just
really, don't
dirt
watch-
racing,
no NASCAR, IndyCar, that kind of
no.
stuff? I don't mind that. You a sprint car fan at all?
Yeah, I like watching them.
Late models or sprint cars better? Any?
I'd rather watch late models
Would
than
you?
sprint car guy.
So you hang out at Attica there and watch the late model feature
yeah,
there?
for sure.
Is that anything that you'd ever want to do?
Yeah, eventually it'd be kind of nice to get into something like that.
Move up to modified maybe first and bump up to something like that? How old of a guy are you?
I'm 26.
Oh, she's got
Still
plenty
a
of time.
baby.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Have you taken a truck anywhere else? Have you?
I ran Finley
Did you?
the night the lights went out. So.
That was not a promotional event either.
Yeah. Is there? Can you guys run at Oakshade? Are there any nights? Are there even any nights off here?
They can run. They can run with the late models or the bomber. It just depends on the tire roll.
At
Really?
Oakshade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if there's any.
The bombers, you have to have street tires on. You have to take the side the side panels of the spoiler off.
Okay.
Then
So I don't know if you can hear Steven describing how the trucks can run over there at Oakshade, but I was just curious. Have you wanted to travel around and do any kind of stuff like that, to race in different places?
Yeah, sometimes I'd like to, kids permitting. So.
Kids permitting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good that the kids are priority like
Yeah.
that. I like that too.
Yeah.
Where is it that you work?
Yeah, I work at West End Tires, a tire tech.
Oh yeah, is that
Yep.
down here with 128? Is that
Yep.
right down there?
Mm.
You guys just opened there. You haven't been open too long.
No, December.
Yep.
There used to be a car dealership, a used car dealership there,
Mhm.
and there was I think it was a '56 Buick Special that sat out front for years and years and years and years, and I always wanted to buy it, and it was gone. Then
They've
When-
cleaned, it looks really nice out there. Does Atkins own
Atkins
that?
owns
Yeah,
it, yeah.
it's really nice out there. They cleaned it up real
Mhm.
nice and got a nice little deal going on out there.
that's a good deal. So you're getting ready for this Saturday then. Got all the dents banged out of the truck and everything.
I hope my dad does. I haven't been down here.
Oh, you haven't
So
been
are
down
these
there.
dents, are you running into them or are they running into you?
Probably both.
What do you think of the racing in the trucks? I mean, is that part of it where you're kind of beating and banging a little bit, or would you rather it be, a little cleaner, I guess?
Yeah, that's part of it, I guess. I mean, you have it. You're running a 3,000-pound vehicle through a corner, so you're gonna have mishaps.
I know there was a couple spots where it was a little rough this weekend. How does that affect the truck running through that stuff? I know it goes through a little different with skinnier tires. and that kind
Yeah,
of
it's a
stuff.
little rough. It slams you pretty good, but for the most part. probably-
You know what though, I watched you guys and I can't say you're all the smartest you people around. You hit that same spot every lap, every single lap, and my daughter asked me about it and I said, well, it must be the fastest way around because otherwise you'd find a different route because
Right.
I know you're talking entering one there.
Yeah, entering one on
And
the
entering
bottom.
three.
Yep.
Was a little, yeah, I could see it from the little bit of time that I got to watch. And Lindsay's like, "Oh my gosh, the track looks really rough." And I said, "Well, watch them. Watch 5 laps, and they're going to hit that same spot all 5 laps. And very seldomly, unless it kicked you out, y'all hit that same spot every time you went around."
Yeah.
So does it hurt? Does it feel like the track's rough in the truck? I know with you guys, it bounces you around pretty good. And
Yeah, it feels. I don't know. Yes and no. I guess it depends how you hit it. Sometimes
Yeah.
it feels like you roll right through it, and other times it feels like you slammed it.
yeah, the sprint cars weren't rolling through it. Not
No.
in one. I don't know how
Do you
you
have
felt.
a full containment seat in
No.
your car? No. Okay. I was just wondering if in the truck, you got in there and it rattles your
That's-
brain a little
yeah.
bit from side to side because I know
Because
they get a
of
little different.
the skinnier tires, I would think it would be rougher, but
Yep.
I do not know.
All right. Well, Keith, I want to thank you for coming in. We got one more thing to do. Obviously, we don't have too many trucks, so we're gonna have to draw us a nice, good truck there. But you said you've seen the show, so you know how that works. I'll give you a minute, and the people seem to like this. I got people asking me at the races. They wanted me to take a video of all of them all together, so that they could see them all together on the screen.
I just put them in frames. I was a couple short, so hopefully by next week we have them all up in frames.
He knows what he's doing right there. You
He
can tell
does.
he's concentrating. Did you start with the tires
No,
first?
he just
No,
now put
I
the
just
tires
did
on.
'em.
Oh, started with the truck first.
Almost got it.
Hey, that's pretty good actually. That looks like a truck, maybe on the Jetsons.
Oh,
I think.
yeah.
But he even put the 4S on there.
That was quick too. You practiced.
No.
Oh, you had to. You had to. Go ahead and autograph that for me if you would. I appreciate you coming in, and we'll wish you luck. If you guys don't watch the trucks for some reason, you got to get up there and watch them. The racing is just fantastic.
It is.
Sean Delaney kind of stunk it up a little bit this week, but from there on back, the racing's been really good.
Yeah,
So,
I have to give you that one too, because I didn't used to watch. I'm a sprint car girl. I grew up a sprint car girl, and the last couple of years, the trucks are fun to watch. If you don't watch them, definitely get up there and watch them, because they put on a really good show.
absolutely. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Tell your dad to get them pounded out. We're going to go ahead and give the 305 highlights and do a commercial, and we'll come back with Stuart Brubaker.
Wide for the 4 spot out of turn 4. Hang on, Ricky Peterson. Jimmy Colvin pulls away. Here comes John Ivy to the inside of Steve Rando. Ivy into the 2nd spot. Ivy going to try the outside this time on Jimmy Colvin out of turn 4. Ivy to the outside of Jimmy Colvin, side by side out of turn 2. John Ivy knows who's ahead. The veteran waited till the last minute to pick the high side, and here comes Colvin back to his inside. Still side by side down the backstretch. Jimmy Colvin, John Ivy, wing to wing through turns 3 and 4.
You know that one's yours, right? They've each had 8. You 7. Is it because you're a slower eater? Or not man enough to claim what's rightfully yours? First it's a wing, then it's your seat at the table. So tell me, are you a little baby boy? Or are you a big, strong man?
I'm a big, strong man. Okay.
Grab a seat. The game is on.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Hey, welcome back to the Last Lap Live. She's Shelly, this guy. I'm Brian Smith, and we have one of our 410 drivers, Stuart Brubaker.
Had to do
Stuart?
some arm twisting to get Stuart in
Yep.
here. He was not really wanting to do this.
What, did you just get off a tractor before you came over here?
No, not yet.
Not
I haven't
yet.
started doing that yet.
Have you been able to get in the fields yet?
Nope.
No.
Not yet.
Are they still soft?
Yeah.
Still pretty soft.
I think his first question was, can we do it over the phone or something? He didn't want to come into the studio.
Yeah, our couches are comfortable, man. You know what
Yeah, this is nice in here.
You know, if you do it over the phone, then you can't sit in the couch and you can't draw the picture.
Right.
Like I said, everybody wants to see the picture, so we could
There's
probably
the plus side of
It
it.
is.
we could probably do 10 minutes and just do 3 guys coming in and drawing the picture, and half the people would still end up watching.
Probably end up still writing on my head.
Yeah,
Somehow.
we haven't had anybody get a stripe down the front
Not
yet.
yet.
I think Mark can get a little on his hat and that kind of thing. But so, let's go ahead and run that. We got some video of following Stuart around. Like I said, my brother takes care of some of this stuff, and just so you can kind of see how Stuart's night went. Big old long red trailer he got there. I had to speed that up so we could get down the whole thing. Did you know he was down there following you?
Yeah, I seen him down there.
Okay, I kind of give you a little
taking
heads
shots,
up, but
yeah.
I was trying to just get some different stuff there. But tell us how your night went. I guess we'll get that over with first.
It went well. Better than the week before.
Yeah.
Hit the tires in the infield.
Oh, yeah.
So,
You know, those are there every week.
Yeah.
They've been there for a
Yeah.
couple of years
We
now.
painted them.
Yeah,
before
that helped.
Did it?
I couldn't see in the center. It was like, how can't you see them? They've been there forever.
They've
I'm
been,
like,
but
I don't
they've
know.
been blending in, haven't they?
Yeah, I couldn't see, and then I seen a video of Paul hitting. I said, the same tire I hit. I said, so it's not just me. But Saturday went well. We ended up, I think, 8th. And
Top 10.
yeah, qualified halfway decent. I think 11th or 12th. So not too bad.
That's good. How did you run Friday night at Attica?
Yeah, we run Friday night again.
You doing good over there?
Yeah, one heat race on 7th.
Well, that's good. 2 top 10 finishes for the weekend.
Stuart will have a big, we spoke of the fan zone last year. His his fan zone came in a really close second to Paige Polyak's, but she gets the chick votes.
Yeah.
You know,
That helped
that's,
her out a lot.
Yeah.
that's funny because last week before the show, I had to run over and take some snow pictures for snow video for the show, and Ross Paulson was there. He was up in the scorers
You have
tower.
the Stuart Brubaker
There was a
face?
Stuart Brubaker, face on a stick up there
Oh,
that
really?
was still
It's
laying
been
up there.
We have it like when you walk in, it's like posted on the. It's stuck on the wall there.
Yeah, nobody even told me they were doing that.
Oh yeah, oh
No,
that's
I
gotta
had no
be great.
clue about it.
That had to be fantastic. Well, hopefully they do something like
Well,
that
and
again.
if you know Stuart's mom, she's very colorful and she's very
Yeah.
creative.
Yeah.
So
She was the one
She
I
had it
think
going
that
on.
had put together.
it was cute. They all had the Stuart Brubaker faces on the stick, and I'm anxious to see what they bring out this year, because it was a real close battle with them. And in a couple weeks, I got Gracie singing the national anthem.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, no.
We
I
get-
can't tell if that's sarcasm.
Yeah,
No.
You might want to
She
say that a
does.
little different.
She does a good job at it, but I don't know if she's gonna freeze when
We
she
have a
sees
backup tape
the
that
people
way.
in the stands.
You might want to point her the other direction. Point her at the
Yeah.
flag, and then you don't have to worry about it.
I'm super
Yeah,
excited about it.
Yeah,
So
hopefully she does well.
she's practicing at home, and
Yeah, she does every once in a while. On the way to the babysitter and on the way to school, she'll start singing it out of the blue in the mornings.
Have you ever spent any time with Gracie?
a little bit.
She's a 40-year-old stuck in a little girl's.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a grown-up little
Yeah.
girl.
How old is she?
5.
5. Well,
Yeah, she is.
She's a lot of fun. She's got a big personality.
where'd she get that character from?
Her mom.
All from her mom?
Yeah.
None of that's from you?
A little bit, maybe. I don't know. She's pretty set in her own ways. She's got to get dressed just right, and if you don't do stuff just right, she gets mad.
I had her up, not this last summer, but the summer before. She came up to the marina and stayed the day with us, and oh my gosh, she's a hoot. She
Yeah.
is literally like dealing with an old lady this size. She just
Now, I was out at the house when we were talking. Do you take her to school in the morning?
No,
Is there times when you have to do that?
every once in a while, but Grandma does most of the time.
Oh, okay. I was wondering how you work that out, getting her dressed and stuff, if she already knows what she wants. And
No, they lay that all out the night before.
okay,
Amanda and Gracie
so they
get that
argue it
around.
out the night before, so they don't
Yeah.
have to argue it.
And there's still some mornings that the shirt is not right.
Yeah.
But she picked it out the night before, and so that part's mostly done. I just do the teeth brushing and stuff like that, and make sure the book bag is taken. So
I wondered how that worked. It was Easter Sunday, obviously it's last Sunday, and my wife goes and teaches first and third service at our church, and so I have 3 girls at home on the dressiest day of the year. And one's dress was too tight, and I thought one was too short, and one didn't want to wear tights, and I'm like, I just throw on a pair of jeans and maybe a dressy looking shirt and go. I can't even comprehend all of this stuff.
yeah, we just wanted her to wear jeans and a t-shirt to go to Easter, and it had to be a dress. So
Really?
it was a fight. It had to be shirt
See,
and
I had
dress.
the opposite. When Lindsay was
Yeah.
little, she wouldn't even hear of a dress.
Yeah, and sandals. I said,
The
your
whole
feet are
nine
gonna
yards.
hurt. No, I can run, go do the Easter egg hunt. I said, your feet are gonna hurt on the way home. I'm not wearing these stupid things again. So she's a good time.
Yeah, she is a lot of fun. We tried to get some info on you that maybe the fan doesn't know, and I don't know if anybody knows this, but you are a brother-in-law to Scott Gressman.
Yep.
So there's a racing line there. I don't know how you got started though. Did you kart?
No, I did not race no
didn't think so.
go-karts or anything. I started helping Jason Curlis when he run 360s at Lima and stuff like that, and then bought Craig Mintz's stuff. And he had that old Schnee, non-down tube Schnee.
Mhm.
They're selling that. So I helped Jason for 4 years, and then I started racing 305.
I just got to meet Curlis last year. I've always
Oh,
heard
really?
of the notorious Curlis, and I've read his posts and stuff like that, and I finally got to meet him
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He is.
It's a good time.
Yeah, your family has been around racing a long time, because I remember your dad when I was Gracie's size being around my dad's racing, and
Mhm.
so you guys have definitely been around a long time. I see your uncle Steve there
Yeah.
almost weekly, it seems like.
Yep. They
I
get
was
out
the
quite a bit.
flower girl in his wedding.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
Everybody's connected.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, especially around this area. You know, Fremont
everybody.
area. Everybody who races is either has married into
Right.
or something.
You got a new crew chief this year,
Yeah.
Bill Daugherty.
Yep. Hired him over the winter. Been great.
Yeah, that working out good.
That's really good.
Bill's got a lot of
He
experience in
does.
that.
He's been around a long time.
Yeah, a lot of experience and just real easy to be around. Just always laughing and joking or making fun of you, or it's just always a good time.
It's good to see Bill back at the racetrack too, because
Yeah.
he was
took
helping.
He was over there at Maryland's
Right.
Grensman's deal for quite some time.
Right, and they
And then
took some time off.
I haven't seen him around until this year.
Yeah, he took 2 years off. And I twisted his arm a little bit the year before to try to come out, and he didn't do anything. And then I got back a hold of him this winter.
Twisting his arm, that's probably what did it. The guy's been through a couple shoulder surgeries and stuff.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason he probably took off, because he just couldn't lift stuff and that kind of thing.
He got a serious girl though, didn't he? Didn't he get into a serious?
Yeah, for a little
and
while.
Spent some time there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, women take you away from the racetrack.
Exactly, that's what happened. Yeah. So no, he's on board full time this year.
That's a good deal.
Hopefully,
You've had a couple
years to come.
good quality crew chief. Wasn't Brian Bloomfield helping you out for a little bit
Yeah,
last year too?
Bloomfield helped me. This one he could here and there.
Yeah.
And got us headed the right direction, because everything I did on a 305 is 180 degrees different what I do.
Well, it's easy then. Just
Full
flip
time.
everything around, right?
I wish it was that easy.
That's one of the questions I was going to ask you, is because you won several 305 track championships, and then moved up to the 410s, and I know you struggled there for a little bit because things were different, but
Yeah.
tell us how they were different.
Setup wise was a big difference. I learned, I caught on to the speed and the reaction times wasn't too bad. I felt like I stayed in the 305 too long, but that stuff wasn't too bad. It's just the setups.
I'm glad you said that, because I think sometimes I say that and people think that I'm just a dumb woman talking that. I think you can stay too long there.
Yeah.
If you're going to move up.
Yeah,
If
I
you're-
definitely
right,
stayed too
right.
long.
If you're thinking of moving up, you can't stay there forever.
Yeah. It was too long. I don't know, we were racing, what, I think 7 years.
Was it that long?
Yeah.
Wow, it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
Is there a plan on doing something a little more traveling maybe wise, or?
We would like to. It's hard to do stuff with Bill works second shift.
Okay.
So if I leave on a Friday, then I don't have him all weekend. So
And if
it's
anybody
tough.
knows about mock farms, that is not an easy job. It's not a 9 to 5 job. It's not a 5-day-a-week job. That is a full-time.
Yeah.
They'll work you sun up till past sundown.
So you're a full-time farmer, basically. How long you been doing that?
14 years.
Oh, wow.
13 or 14 since I graduated.
Oh, right out of school then.
Right out of school, and then I farmed at home. I guess you can say I never had a real job. I farmed. Well, it's a real job, but
Yeah.
I farmed at home all through high school and helped at home, and then went out there.
You still got family farmland then?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Your family still farms?
Yeah.
I did
Yeah,
not
they
know
farm
that.
quite a bit.
I did not know that.
Fremont, Gibsonburg area? Or?
Yeah, Helena.
Oh,
All
yeah.
Helena. A little bit over 590 area.
How many acres you guys farm?
At the farm?
At your farm, yeah. Family stuff.
Oh, the family stuff, I think they're up to like 1,200 acres.
Really?
Yeah.
It seems like a lot. I mean,
I'm between 8 and 12.
And mocks have,
We're pushing 45 or 5,000.
yeah. They don't do as much produce and stuff anymore, or pickles and tomatoes and stuff anymore.
No, we're
No.
done with that.
Yeah, I didn't see Judy out too
Yeah,
often.
it got to be too much.
Yeah.
so what actually do you do, like on a regular basis? Obviously, planting season's coming up,
Yeah.
but
I'll plant, I do planting the corn.
so you're riding around in one of those big planters and
Yeah.
running up and down fields
Then
all
in the
day?
fall, I run the combine. And like now I do a lot of welding in the shop.
You got a lot of stuff to fix during
Yeah,
the winter
it
time?
never ends. There's 6 of us, I think, full time.
Oh, okay.
They don't have downtime, do they?
No.
Out there? Mm-mm. I didn't
No,
think
it's all
so.
year round. It never ends.
Well, that's good though. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't want to be taking 3-4 months off. Like this winter here, you'd have been off for a long time if you were waiting on ground.
Pushed a lot of snow this winter.
They did.
We push a lot of our tenants' driveways and stuff, and that's all we did all winter.
The Mock Farms owns rentals and that kind of stuff, so you're...
No, just our land
okay.
tenants
Oh, okay.
that we rent ground from. So we take care of all them.
I see.
It gave you some time to get out and crash up your snowmobile. Oh wait, that was Amanda who crashed up
Yeah.
your snowmobile. Gotcha.
Yeah, I still haven't. I just heard that story the other day again. She was telling somebody about it, and I happened to be already at the bar
Yeah, I
when
heard.
she crashed. Yeah.
My daughter was on that ride, and she was
Yeah.
like, Stuart was like long gone, and poor Amanda, she comes back with this crashed up, literally like torn up snowmobile.
Yeah, I took the windshield and all kinds of stuff off of it.
She can't say a whole lot about that because I remember her being in a ditch and her brother had to come save her out of a
I
ditch
did.
in the
It
snowmobile
was
too. So.
Yeah.
My brother, of all people, not the person you want. He's the most unmechanically inclined individual ever. But Farmer took off down the road and left me sit. Went up and got gas, and kind of like you,
Mhm.
never even turned around to see where I was at. And here I sit along the road in a ditch
Really?
on 300. Yeah.
Yeah, I
was
felt bad.
interesting.
I don't know. The guy was standing there pointing us to go what way to go because I didn't know where we were going. And then the other guy says, well, we're going to take off and go get them because Amanda and them, they missed the turn to go to the bar, and she come back crashed. So I felt bad after I'm sitting there drinking beer and they pull her back with another snowmobile. So I still haven't heard the end of it. I heard it this week.
That's good. So your snowmobiler, what kind of other stuff do you do that's not racing related? Obviously, the farming takes up quite a bit of time.
Yeah, just farming, snowmobile. We'll go make a couple trips to Michigan in the winter and racing.
Gracie likes to swim. Your mom has a pool, right? You guys do
Yeah.
get to do some pool swimming and stuff?
Yeah, we'll go over there quite a bit.
Yeah, I know when I had her, I took her out on the kayak and she went swimming,
I love
little
it.
fish.
This year was the first year I got mad during Speed Week when we come home. First year I've been on a boat and went kneeboarding ever
Yeah.
on the river.
Did you love it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Sore
Yeah.
the next day.
You
Yeah,
use
but
muscles you don't even know
Yeah.
you had.
it was a
Sounds
good
like
time.
Sounds like a new hobby.
I'd have to slow down in racing though.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You planning on doing Speed Week again this year?
Yeah.
Okay. Bill going to take off and then be able to help you for that?
No,
too?
he's off the week before Speed Week.
Oh, jeez.
That's terrible.
We're trying to get dates figured out, and I guess they go by seniority of where he
Oh, okay.
works. And the guy's already had that week off.
So will Brian come back and help, or what's
So-
he doing?
He's helping a kid from down there at Worcester,
Okay.
and they're just racing every once in a while. I don't know if he'll help during Speed Week or not.
Because he's going to have a car in the Legends race. And
Yeah.
off the top of my head, I can't think of who is going to drive that car. Charlie Fisher?
No, Rick Ferkel,
Is it Rick?
I think.
Okay. I knew that Brian was involved in one of the cars.
Yeah, because Brian called me to get Scott's number, Dressman, because I think
Okay.
they might be getting a motor from Scott. And then, at that time, it was Rick.
Yeah.
So,
What are you thinking of that deal there? That Legends deal?
I think it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
It's
see
funny.
that.
All the 410 guys seem to be the same. You know, to watch their heroes do that deal. I was just
We
curious. what
probably
you thought.
should have just took a night off for the 410s and let everybody come and watch.
Yeah, I think that would have worked out.
It's going to definitely be neat.
Well, good deal. You got anything else for Stuart?
No.
No, he's chomping at the bit to get out of here and do something. You can tell.
Michelle told me to make sure that I gave out Stuart's middle name, but I thought I would hold off on it just
Yeah, I'd appreciate
just
that.
as a friendly gesture.
We'll have him sign it when he signs his car here.
Yeah.
You know how this works. I know you. Oops, there, take that one there. I know you've been looking forward to doing that. Everybody else.
I didn't know about it until I was sitting in the back watching.
Oh, really?
And
That
finally was
means
like,
he
"Oh, you'll
hasn't
get
watched
your
our show.
chance." I watched it when you had the table when
Oh,
Scott was here,
that was
or
horrible.
the counter.
Yeah.
That was
and-
horrible.
Yeah, and I don't think he did it.
No, because we're just doing it. We're just having the drivers do it. Although John Horn requested doing it, he wanted
Yeah.
to do it because
He really wanted
he
to
liked
do
it.
it.
He did. The first thing he came in when he said, "Well, it's like Rick Ferkel." Rick Ferkel came in and it was pretty much, "I'm not doing it." No problem, sir. And John Horn came in and he said, "I want to do that." You know, his first thing he wanted to do was that.
Yeah.
So you got a minute, you can take it all, or you can take a little bit of it, but just set it on your head and draw a picture of the 35 and make sure you get the number on the wing. That didn't look like he started with the tires, so we are starting
No.
to get a little bit of different. You don't get up in the fence and get up in your forehead and that kind of stuff.
A lot of circles going on in that.
Yeah, I don't have no clue.
Do you know what a sprint car looks like? What we got?
Look at that. Tried putting a wing on it, but that didn't work.
It does
That's
appear
not
to
bad.
does appear to have some wheels. That's not
It
awful.
does. No, I don't think it's awful.
I like that he left the spot to sign his autograph.
Yeah.
That was the most important thing. So sign that off for me. Make sure you put your middle name on there so everybody knows
No, that's all
when we
right.
come here to look
You know,
it up.
someday Gracie will see this in the Hall of Fame.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's right. These will all be up there. She's starting to get the frames are on them now, so it's looking a little more professional, I guess.
They're not hung. I've had a rough week. I can't get back into the swing of racing again. You know,
It's just so cold.
and there's just so much to do that I forget about over the winter. You know, and when you're starting out the season, you have T-shirts and you have to stock everything and you have to train new employees. And
How long does it take you to get going once the season starts before you start feeling like you're in a rhythm?
It's usually the middle of summer.
Oh,
Is
it
it?
takes quite a
Yeah.
while.
See, I was
Takes-
saying 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah,
About the time you get going, then farming picks up, I guess. So
right.
things
That's
get
what
really
they always
busy.
say. Is they used to do it in the 305. I'd never get out to the fence to enter. I'd always enter the corner. I'm like, just give me a couple weeks, we'll get it. And that's I don't know why. It always takes some time.
I truly
and
have to
get
give
going.
him props because I know the Mox and I know how he maintains a race car in a family and works for the Mox.
It's tough.
Great people, but it's a really grueling schedule.
Yeah, there's some nights I sit in the stage lane for the feature and put my head up against the headrest.
That's good to know. I'm
Take a
going to keep an
power
eye on
nap.
that.
Bump
Close your
into
eyes
it
a
every
little
once
bit.
in a while, just
Oh,
bump
once
into
you
it.
hit the kill switch and you know how that goes.
You get nervous at all before the races or during races or anything?
No, not really.
I know this first 2 weeks for some reason I guess maybe I'm not racing Attica, so I'm not doing it quite as much yet. But I get nervous until we fire the motors, and then it's just weird. It's just I flip that switch on and my nerve switch goes off.
Is it because you're a car owner now instead of
It might have a little
just
something
that
to do
little
with
thing
it.
don't
in
help.
the back?
Yeah,
Trust me, it don't help.
yeah.
It
You're in the
doesn't
same
because
situation.
You don't have that. The guys that go out and race for somebody else, they don't have to worry about.
Still, though, you get out there and some of the guys, they're interesting to race with. I'll just put it that way. So that kind of stuff makes you a little nervous, I guess. But I was just wondering, once you turn the switch on, then
The other side of that, I've always raced better for myself.
Yeah.
I've had a car owner, and you always think you gotta take
Yeah.
care of them or you gotta do stuff, and
And they get mad and.
yeah, I race better if I crash my own stuff. I ain't gonna get fired.
I don't know that I necessarily own it either, because my wife she's a lot tougher on me than Kid Henry was or Larry Real everywhere.
I think it's the female gene because I'm like that too. I went down and the 6 car went out this weekend. Well, it's been out 3 times and 3 times something's fallen off of it, and to me it's unacceptable. So,
Uh-oh. You got called out on the last lap. Dustin,
and
you're in trouble.
I went down and talked to him, gave him a pep talk, and said, this cannot keep happening. So I think it's just
Yeah?
Amanda's probably
Yeah, the 305s, a couple times they had a couple bad nights. I had to run a B, and she says, we didn't come here to run a B.
yeah.
And then last year, we struggled, went to Lernerville with a 410. And she says, you need money to get home.
That's a bet.
And I thought of that. I got passed for 4th. And I thought that in the last lap. We made the show.
Actually thought of that.
We
In
made
her
the show.
defense, when you're away from home and you're on a budget and you're out there and you know how much you got and you don't make the show and you got to run the B, that
Yeah.
that's a big thing, thinking about how you're going to go the next, get home or to the next race.
Yeah,
the
we
next
spent
weekend.
$300 on a trailer tire getting there.
Oh,
So
There's always something
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
and so that set her mood.
Yeah.
Once we got on,
It
Drive up and
happens.
down the road to Attica and Fremont every week, and that never happens. And then all of a sudden you leave, and
yeah.
something like that happens.
Yeah. It's crazy.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in, Stuart. I appreciate
Thank
it. And
Thank you.
You're welcome.
we'll see you out at the racetrack, I'm sure. We're going to go ahead and are we up to truck highlights? We'll do the truck highlights for you. We'll do a commercial, and we'll come back with one of our legends, Joe Keegan.
Jimmy McGrath Jr. washes up the racetrack. Everybody has to scatter behind him, but he'll lead lap 1. And don't look now, but here comes the Black Deuce of Matt Foose. Foose to the outside of Valeni, side by side for the 3rd spot. Wide for 2nd out of turn 2. Valeni into the 2nd spot now. Here comes Matt Foose to his outside as Dustin Keegan stretches his legs out of turn 4. Sean Valeni to the inside of Dustin Keegan, door to door for the lead down the backstretch. Sean Valeni, your new leader. But here comes Dustin Keegan racing hard to his outside, door to door again. Still side by side for the lead out of turn 4. Dustin Keegan back up front.
To all the girlfriends out there who just wanted to try a chicken wing, who just wanted one of our nachos, and who said things like, "I'm fine," when we're ordering chili cheese fries. Sorry, but you're gonna have to get your own. Chili cheese fries and Chipotle Ranch chicken, grilled inside a tortilla so you don't have to share. Taco Bell's newest loaded grillers, appetizers for just $1.
Welcome back to the Last Lap Live. I'm Brian Smith, that's Shelly List Guy, and we're here with one of our legends, Joe Keegan. Joe, thanks for coming in today.
Glad to be here.
I'm going to have to talk a little extra loud because Joe's been a race car driver for a long, long time, and the volume's a little down in his ears. So.
Hey, I'm getting new hearing aids tomorrow.
Oh, good. Well, we should have had him on tomorrow, and then we could have.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you who don't know, I think Joe won the very first 305 race in the country.
Yeah, it actually,
when
yes.
305's just first. Because they were born in Attica, right?
Yeah.
Well, as a limited sprint, because the USAC ran 305 engines.
Well, they called them Kano sprints back then.
Yeah, right. And what year was that? 88?
88. And then Fremont run 2 shows that year.
Did they?
I won the first one, Kenny Clark sponsored, and I'm pretty sure I won the second one too.
You won a lot of them. You were leading feature winner.
At Attica, I won 15.
15 races.
Wow.
15 features.
Right, 15 features.
Yeah.
Which was the most for a long time.
Yeah, last year I ran Attica, it would have been 93, so it would have been 5 years.
Okay.
So do you miss racing?
Oh, I miss it, yeah. I don't miss the work. Every time I go to the track, this Legends deal has really done one thing for me. It's made it possible for me to do something I've been wanting to do for a few years again, and that's just get in a car and run one more time.
Yeah.
And I think that part of it is great. I just want to go out that night. I've had a lot of my friends support me, and I just want to enjoy the night. That's all I want to do.
To me, I like hearing that because I know there's some real competitive guys coming out to do that, but that's what it's all about. I mean, for you to get to go out and do something that you love to do and turn
there's
some
one
laps.
thing with this. People got to remember we're using somebody else's equipment, and these cars are so expensive. It takes everything there is, and I didn't hear about the deal till late to start with, so I had to hunt for a car.
And whose car are you on?
Well, what I ended up doing is I helped Steve Randall a little bit. I work with Steve every day, and he's the greatest kid. I'll tell you. His dad was his dad always took care of all my welding supplies through O.E. Myers. So I've known his dad for a long time. And then when he came to work, his dad told me, "Hey, my son's put in for a job here, come to work." Well, then he ends up working with me in my area. He's the lead electrician and I'm the lead maintenance guy. So we work together every day.
You work at Materion?
Yes,
okay.
yeah, Rush Wellman Materion.
We had Steve on last week, so I remember him saying he
so last year Steve always asked me a lot of questions, so I helped him out a little bit last year. All I did is went down and looked over his operation, went with him to the races, and seen what their setups and giving some suggestions. Yeah. And they really, between him and his uncles and that, they have a very nice operation, a family deal. His mom and them all support him very well, and they work hard to do what they do. And it was like a deal I had. It's a family-owned deal. They take everything they have and they put into this deal. So I said something to Steve because there wasn't hardly cars left, and I understand. You don't want to put somebody in this stuff, brand new stuff you just built, and that you don't want to take a chance. It's too expensive, and he can't afford to replace it. So we made a deal. He had a spare frame sitting there, and he said, "I got a bunch of spare parts. We can put a car together." He said, "I don't have another motor." Well, I had an engine that was in pieces up in my attic that's about 8 years old, so I was going to put that together. Well, then I got lucky.
That's still a baby compared to what I'm running. So.
Friday night, I ran into Andy Stout.
Okay.
And they haven't run their stuff for a year. They run them once last year.
Well, he ran a lot of pavement stuff.
Yes, Chris Michaels runs his pavement stuff. And he said to me then, I told him about this deal. He said something about the deal and asked me if I was running. I said, yeah. And then I was telling him what the deal was. He said, well, why don't you just come over and get my engine? He said, you're welcome to my engine and anything else you need to put the car together. So that's going to make it easier for us because now we have an engine that runs. We don't have to worry about the first night not getting the engine to run right. because we're on limited time.
Right.
So this way I know the motor will run okay and everything. So.
And Steve seemed real excited about having you in the car.
Well, Steve and his family, his dad, I talked to him last week. I was glad to see his dad there when he won because he's been ill, you know, and hadn't been able to go to the races. And his dad was there the night he won. I got to talk to him for a while. And that's what he said. He said, I'm looking forward to see you out there. So I'm excited just to do this. I've had my friends come out to Woodwork, and everybody talk about it. And I bet that night I'll have 100 friends there.
That's awesome.
I mean, there's people coming that ain't been there in 8-10 years.
That's awesome.
So.
Oh, you said you stopped racing in '93?
93 was the last year I run my own cars.
Okay.
And I didn't run till 2002. I drove for Chucky Dag. I drove the Chuck Wagon 1 year at Fremont.
Yeah, that's right.
All we ran was Fremont Saturday night. We took all his spare car parts and put a car together out of about 3 blowed up motors. We put a motor together and stuff like that. But it was a fun year. George helped me. A couple of my other buddies helped me. Coonsey come back out. It was fun just to have the gang back together and have some fun. We had a couple good nights. We made about half the features that year, but we were running an engine that was not very nice.
But your key word there was fun. You
Yeah.
all had fun doing it. You got to go out on a fun note.
Yes. I think that's part of the problem with racing nowadays is it's got too expensive and a lot of the fun has gone from
Yeah.
the racing.
Yeah, you're right.
In the old days, you could take somebody you got into a fight with the night before. If you needed a part the next night, he loaned you the part.
Yeah. It's a business now.
It is. That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
It's gone from a sport to a business.
Yeah, it definitely is. And,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I think it's all the way around. I think a lot of people think it's just at the World of Outlaw level or it's a business from your end.
Well, I look at it this way. It's all hobbies anymore. People have taken them to such extremes. Everybody wants to be a professional and be the best. And it's taking the fun out of everything.
Taken to extremes. You sometimes take things to extremes, right? Did you
Like
build
what?
well, I hear you have do you have a double decker, is it a bar stool? Do you race a
Oh, we built a double-decker bicycle one time for the Suds run. It was Depot put it on, and it ran to 7 different bars.
Yeah.
And we had a 3-person double-decker bicycle we built out in the back of my shop.
And Jay's your nephew, Jay Morlock is
Yes.
your nephew, right? Yeah, he was telling me about it. He gave me some.
Then I had a
some
motorized
story.
bar stool too. That was probably what he was talking
He
about.
said you
so.
would. You're always.
We had that years ago before they became popular like now.
Yeah.
The Depot was going to run them around the bar table up there. We built one for that.
He
So
said you would build them and then use the nephews as guinea pigs to see if they.
they got to test everything. I built an extra short go-kart for Jay and them guys to run around the yard one time. They used that for a couple years.
He says you're quite the builder. You
I have about right now probably 12 projects going in
Well,
my
he
shop.
was nice. He said 3. He said you always have at least 3.
Yeah, I usually have
projects.
3 I'm working on, but I will stop on one and go to something else. It takes forever for me to complete one, but I have probably 12 jobs started in my shop right now.
What kind of stuff are you building?
I have a 3-wheel motorcycle with a Crosley engine, all chromoly tube frame and everything I designed. It has Crosley engine transmission rear. That is totally done other than tear it back down and do the rest of the body work and paint it. And I haven't had time to do too much of that lately. And I did paint Elvin Rookie's car for him this year.
Oh, okay.
That's a nice
I took time out. He needed somebody to do it and said something to me at church one day. I said, I'd be glad to do it. So my buddy George Thompson gave me a hand, and Elvin brought us over some Rust-Oleum candy red paint and a can of hardener. And that's what we painted it with.
Well, it turned out good.
In the cold, we had a hard time with it, but I was surprised how nice it come out when we were done.
It does look nice.
But then I do a lot of antique go-karts from the late 50s and early 60s. I restore a bunch of them. I was putting my daughter through college by doing them and selling them. I have a 76 Roadster midget, 3/4 midget to come out of Long Island, New York. It has a Crosley engine with a quick change and everything in it. And I bought nice little car. Was running indoors at Atlantic City in that. I have the book for it and everything. I've been restoring that. I'm restoring the car that I built in 1983 and raced.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
there's a
lot of fun,
Crosley in there that I'm doing, and I have a 58 Metropolitan in there I'm redoing. There's a few other
Tinkering on your
projects.
Roadster.
And yeah, I would like to put a flathead V8. I got one sitting in the corner. I'd like to put in my Roadster.
And
So
you have Cushmans too, right?
I had 6 Cushmans. I'm down to 4, I think.
So what you're saying is since you stopped racing, you sped up. Because it's
I always thought when you got older, you had more time. I have less time.
I found it funny when he said when he quit racing and then he went back to that he forgot how much work was involved. It sounds to me like he's working more now than he worked ever.
Well, I just have. Back when I raced, I always said, how people have time to race with all the things I had to do. But I'll tell you what, when I raced, you just didn't do a lot of the other stuff.
Yeah.
You did what you had to do at home to keep the household going, and that was it. But people don't realize that when I raced, we would work 40 hours a week on the car, plus I was running a truck shop at the time, and I was working probably 60, 70 hours a week there. On Saturdays, it got to where when we were running that 3 nights a week with the press deal and stuff, that I would have to actually stop and go to work till noon, and Denny and the boys would clean the car up and get it ready, and anything I had to fix, either they'd bring it down to the shop and I'd do it while I was working, or I would go home and do it. So I just quit working Saturdays.
I think your average fan that comes out to the races on the weekends and they think that it's a real glamorous life and everything. It's a lot of work, and it takes a lot out on your family. I know. Brian,
tell you what, it's a little easier now compared to back when I started. Only for one reason: you can buy the parts and they fit when you put them on.
Right.
Back when I started, Jim Linder and Larry Keegan and Fred Linder, them guys, they really honed my skills when I was younger. They let me help build parts and stuff, and they were very good at it, and they showed me how to do it the right way. Jim would make me make a part 3 times to make it the way he wanted it.
Yeah.
But that's what gave me the skills to have the job I have today.
They were the innovators.
Yes. Well, back then you couldn't buy that stuff, and if you bought it, it didn't fit. Now you could not replace a rear end at the racetrack, a driveline at the racetrack. You couldn't even put a front axle in because kingpins won't fit the axles. All that stuff had to be honed, filed, hand fitted.
Now they pop them in and out of there.
Yes.
Like it's
when you bought a race car, they called a kit. Nowadays, a kit you just bolt together. It even comes with instructions, tells you how to set it up. Back then, they didn't do that. They were even reluctant when you bought an Nance car to even tell you what the wheelbase or what their cars were. But they give you all the parts. But all the radius rods in the front were the same length. They didn't tell you where to cut them or nothing. And back then, we didn't have left-hand taps or nothing. Only guys like Al Franks that had a machine shop and stuff had them. So what you did is you kept cutting off the right-hand end and rethreading it till you got the length right. And just stuff like that. The arms were all straight aluminum arms. None of them had the bends or offsets in them. Even the rear ones where you had to bring the high ends up were straight. You had to heat them, find somebody with a press, and bend them. And then try figuring out what the offset's supposed to be. You know how hard that is now? Yeah. Imagine what it was like back then.
Guys my age don't understand that at all.
No.
Unless they talk to guys like you, but we still can't even fathom it. I mean, I can't even understand how it used to be that way. You know what I mean? How you even got to this point.
Stop and think. When I started racing, I started in 1973. Driving. I went in the pits in 71. I was old enough to go in the pits. I had to help some guys because back then you were only allowed 5 guys with a race car in the pits. No women, no children. But you were only allowed 5 guys per people. There was not very many people in the pits.
It took all 5 of them to push the race car
off
the trailer.
You had guys like Johnny Oxford that only had 1 or 2 guys with him. So you went and found guys like that and let them sign in under your car so you could go in the pits.
Right.
And so what I did, I started helping Tom Lozier and Dave Arnold the first year with a sprint car. I painted their car for them when I was 16, and John Forsythe showed me how to paint back when I was 15. I painted a T-bucket I built and started doing some custom stuff. So I've always painted just out of necessity. I couldn't afford to have somebody do it, so I always painted my own race cars, you know. Right. And I painted a lot of other people's stuff just because you needed somebody to do it. So then the second year, I couldn't really afford the sprint car stuff, so I started with late models, and I started helping Ronnie Leeser and Ron McComas. That's how I got into late models when I started racing. But it was a lot different back then.
Got to have on the show here. He's got plenty of stories too.
He does, definitely.
So you raced from 73 till...
well, I run 21 years.
They were super sprints at the end there, I guess.
Well, actually, it's a weird progression the way I did because I actually did a deeper progression because I run late models from 73 till 78. Okay. I ran dirt late models till 76. I run dirt and asphalt. In 77, I ran dirt and asphalt. Okay, then in 78, I ran just pavement. I ran Toledo Speedway and the Tri-Sac deal up there.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
Ran some ARCA. I had an ARCA license.
Oh, wow.
I ran ARCA. I ran the SA. I run against Mark Martin up there. Run against Rusty Wallace up there. Run with Bob Seneker. Used to give me all my tires and stuff.
He's one of my heroes. One of my childhood heroes was Bob Seneker.
Joy Fair run up there. You know, when I ran Toledo Speedway, there was the top 10, 11 guys raced for a living. It was a hard place to go. I only did a year and a half. I couldn't afford it no more.
Yeah.
But they were really good to you. I mean, I had good times up there.
Wow. I'm gonna have to talk to you after the show about that kind of stuff. Won't fit all that in here, but.
See, I've been going to Fremont Speedway. People say, "Well, how long you been there?" People realize I'm 58 years old. I'll be 59 shortly. But I've been going to Fremont Speedway. I've been there 56 years at Fremont Speedway every year.
Well, I just got a text from a watcher that says Joey's great. So they're liking
you. Still got fans. They'll be excited to see you there.
See, my dad had cars from 1956 till 1960. And my dad didn't drive much. He was on the road in the truck. So he'd only drive his own car once in a while. But Paulie Keegan drove it, which was Doug Keegan's brother.
Oh, okay.
And he was real good. He was like Doug. He was a very good racer. Won a lot of features in the car and everything. Well, he drove another car in 1960 up Toledo Speedway and got hurt real bad. And that ended his racing career. So the car was just sitting in the garage. And Jim Linder, John, and Fred were young kids and used to hang out at my mom and dad's house. I have a picture of them sitting in the living room. And but they liked my dad because my dad would talk to them after the races and stuff. So they started hanging out, and then they come down to the house during the week and stuff. Well, Jim was just getting, I think he would have been 16, 17 then. Probably 17. Because see, back then you had to be 18 to race. And you had to have both your parents sign for you. I did even when I started. You were 21.
18? Even at 18?
Yeah. At 18 to 21, you had to have both your parents sign for you and everything to race.
Heck, now we're letting them.
I was 17 when I started, and they, they told me, they knew I was, when I almost turned 18, they knew I was 17.
Yeah.
They said, "Don't cause any trouble, you're out of here."
Yeah.
But, so then Dad ended up, the car was just sitting there, so he'd give it to Jim Linder. He'd give him the car to race. Oh. And so they took it, and Jim started out, my dad would qualify the car, and Jim would race it under my dad's name because he was a year too young. That's how he started racing. And then my dad traveled with him about the rest of his career. So my dad got real sick. And he would go with Jim. He didn't go to races with me. He didn't like me racing. He didn't like it at all.
His own boy. So tell us about how the 305 deal got started out.
Okay. For 24 years, Jim Linder, my dad, had a reserve table at Bonnie and Size.
All right.
And we had that, like I say, 24 years till they closed. And we ate lunch up there 6 days a week. So it was a racer's table. We even had Jimmy McCune and guys from out of town always knew we ate there, and they'd stop in and eat with us once in a while. Elvin Rookie always stopped over, a bunch of them guys. But racers from all over knew we were there, so they'd stop. But Eric Phillips ate lunch with us twice a week there because he was a salesman. I got bought stuff from my shop, and so we would sit there and eat lunch for about an hour or so, maybe a little longer. And Eric come up with an idea one day. Well, him and Larry Keegan were partners on that deal.
Right.
And they come up with Eric says, "I got an idea." He said, "I would like to start a division to start guys out in the sprint car that could be a little cheaper and they could afford to run." He said, "Would you be willing to help me if we did this?" I don't know, what's your idea? So he told me about it and he says, "Would you build a car?" So I ended up actually building 2 cars. I was helping Brian Neeb out a little bit in his go-karting.
Were you racing?
I had done nothing that year. That would have been 88 was their first year. So this was 87 when they were talking about it. I ran about 5 or 6 times in Tom Heath's car.
Okay.
In the 7 car, the white 7.
So it kind of slowed down at that point for you?
Well, I had sold my stuff to John Wisbon in 86, everything I had, at the end of the year. Well, it wasn't quite the end of the year, it was after Speed Week. I got put out of the ballpark at Speed Week by Steve Butler when I was running second.
Okay.
And it put me clean out of the ballpark near side of the fence, tore a bunch of stuff, and we were out for a couple weeks. We put everything back together. I ran a few more shows and put the car up for sale, and John Wisbon come over and asked what I wanted. I sold him my whole operation. We pulled my toolbox out of the trailer and sold him spare engine, car, every piece of equipment we had, trailer and all.
That's a lot of stuff to fit in that little tiny garage he had over there.
Yes. That's why we finally built an enclosed trailer, so it was a storage place in the winter.
Okay. All right, so now you said you got together.
So Eric asked me about that deal. He said what he wanted to do. And I said, yeah, I'll build a car. So I bought Elvin Ripke's car off of him. He had some field because he bought a new one.
Okay.
And put that together. Well, then Brian Neeb said he was interested, so we went and found Brian some stuff, and he bought it. And we put both them cars together in my shop, my mom and dad's garage, actually in town, up by Pizza Hut. And we worked out that alley up there. We had both cars out there that year. I took care of Brian's car for a year up there.
Okay.
Well, Brian will be racing the Legend Race too.
Is he going to?
I believe
Yeah,
he's one
he's
of
on
them.
the list there.
Yep.
Is he old enough?
Must be.
He's got to be right around 50. I forget how old he is. I mean, that's just.
I think originally he had talked about somebody racing his
Yeah,
stuff.
so originally he was going to. That's why I was wondering. I don't know if he wasn't
but
old
hey,
enough or not.
but-
Because he's got to be at the right around the 50 cutoff there.
Yeah. So there was you and Brian and Greg Coons and.
And Coonsy didn't run until the year later.
Oh, okay.
The original ones would have been Jerry Nyrebecki.
Okay.
Boy, I'm trying to think. There's 3 other ones. I could have remembered the name before it come. It's been a while.
Yeah, I was just curious. I was. My dad was a cop in town
Yeah.
here, and we were kind of around a little bit there, and I actually ran my bomber over at Attica that first year when
Okay.
that was first going. So we were at Attica just about every week watching that.
And was that called the Econo Sprint?
Yes, it was called Econo Sprints then, yeah.
Boy, we got off track on that, didn't we?
Yeah, see, everybody loses sight of the rules. They always listen to the people in the bitch. Not all the people are satisfied.
Yeah.
And this guy buys a car and it had a power steering, and so now he thinks he ought to run power steering, see? And the next guy, he buys a car, it has this on, so he thinks he ought to run aluminum wheels or something. Originally, there was 3 ways to change a rule. If it would be make it safer, cost less money, and what else did he say? But anyhow, Eric had them 3 agendas. Now, it was the only way they changed the rules. Well, as the time went by, that all changed.
Because there's still, at this point, there's nothing really Econo about.
Well, stop and think about
305s.
it. There's a lot of guys go to the open deal because they can buy a used open engine for about $14,000 and redo it. And a good Econo motor, brand new, costs you almost $20,000 now.
They're not cheap.
So, race cars are actually cheaper now than they were when I started racing. Or let's say the same price. I'll tell you what. Back in 1981, I bought a new fab car, a frame for Jim Linder. And that car just the frame cost $2,500 in 81.
Really? Wow.
You can buy one a couple years ago for $1,900. So,
Yeah. Right. Stuff
but
like triple X
CNC,
prices now.
there you go. And CNCs have made things so much cheaper.
Yeah.
First rear end I bought for a sprint car would have been 1980. I drove for Jimmy Ripken 79, bought my own car in 80, built it out of pieces. Back then, you didn't just go buy rear. Surely them would have one rear end maybe in stock, but they were $1,500 bald back then. Bald, no hubs, no nothing.
Right.
$1,500. I bought a used one from Harold Kemenow when Jack Hewitt was driving for him. They had 3 broken rear ends in the basement, and we took all the parts out of the good parts out of the 3. I had enough parts to build a rear end, and I'd give him $850 back then for that.
Wow.
And Jim Linder then showed me I had to spend another couple $100 on a bearing kit and shim kit, and then Jim Linder come out, took the time, and showed me how to put a rear end together, how to shim them right, how to preload them, how to get the backlash.
So now, in your opinion, because you're there watching every week, is the racing as good, better, not as good?
I'll tell you, I have had one problem with the racing. I understand race cars have changed. They're all a little bit closer in competition than they were back when I started, because everybody has good equipment now.
And they're cookie cutter cars.
They're all cookie cutters. That's the only thing that really upsets me about racing. I used to love going to pits and look at all the different cars. You can take a bumper off of that car and it fits in this car. Back when I ran, none of that stuff fit from a car
We've
to car.
talked about that with other legends,
Yes.
Jim, coming
I
in.
went down to see Steve Kinder's cars and all that one time at Attica a couple of years ago. I went with Jim and Larry to the World Outlaw Show, and I was never so disappointed. All the cars were the same.
It's almost like walking into a Walmart and being able to pick your parts
Yes,
out.
it is.
Everybody's got the same.
But the only thing I would like to see them do is have one night like the old days, start the fast cars in the back, or at least halfway back.
I'm right there with you, and I've used the show every week.
I don't even go to World Outlaw shows anymore because they start the fast guy up front. I can go to Eldora and tell you who's going to win 9 out of 10 times. The guy starts on the outside pole.
Yeah.
Especially
The guy-
at a track at like Eldora. Them
Yes,
guys get out and
it's
go,
horrible
and
there.
I don't go. I go down for the bigger shows, but everybody gets this Eldora hype going on, and for me, it's just a big fast train.
It is. It really
all
is.
it is for me.
When I ran there, I've run Eldora quite a bit in late models and sprint cars, and I remember running there in 1980 at a World Outlaw show, and I was running 8th. Wide open. There was no passing. And Danny Smith had broke his jaw in Florida that winter because he had the old Darth Vader helmets, and Danny has a chubby face like mine, and them Darth Vader helmets come down like this, and they would snap your chin when you flipped. And he broke it in Florida. This was his first race back, and he was right in front of me running 7th. We're wide open running, and I can hear Sammy Swindell every lap trying to slide me. And finally, the one time I heard him coming, I thought he was going to drive right through me. He missed me, and he hit Danny Smith. Danny hit the wall and was upside down going over my car and broke his jaw again.
Oh,
And after that, they come out with that rounder Darth Vader helmet. Then.
And now it's kind of taken the driver out of the car. It's more horsepower.
Well, I'll tell you where you put the driver back in the car.
The shorter bolt.
Fremont Speedway.
Yeah.
Why do you think? I've been to tracks. I've run at least 5 or 6 different states. Run a lot of different tracks, and everybody, even the Pennsylvania guys, all tell you the same thing. Fremont Speedway takes more finesse. I run there more. It's my home track. I love Fremont Speedway, but I have done the worst at Fremont Speedway because I like run. I won a lot of show daddy because I run wide open. You can't do that at Fremont. Even when you think you're running wide open, you're still finessing that pedal, and you know what it's like.
Yeah.
You like running the bottom and getting finesse. I never had good luck there because I want to run too hard. Next thing I was sliding up and everything else. You're always pretty good when it's dry, slick there. You do a good job of finessing a car around there.
Joey's one of the faithful wearers of a Brian Smith t-shirt too. It cracks me up every time I see him at the racetrack. All right, Joe, we could go on forever. Unfortunately, I do have to get home to my wife.
Yeah, I don't know how good this is going to work.
Well, we appreciate you doing it. Mark did it. Jim Linder did it.
This is the first time I've seen it. So
we know that you'll do it and do a good job.
I doubt that.
You can't see any better in front of you than you can on your top of your head anyway, so you'll be all right. I'll give you a minute or as long as you need to just draw it. Probably the K5, I suppose, would be the best one to draw in for us, and we'll hang that on the wall out there with the rest of them, and you'll be able to compare at lunch with Jim and them guys to see who did the better one.
He's got a whole different technique. He didn't start. He kind of started in the middle.
He's still got the same concentration.
Yeah.
You say concentration or constipation?
Yeah, there you go. I broke the concentration. That sometimes makes the picture better when we get them laughing there.
Is Denise a race fan?
What's that?
Is Denise a race fan?
Hey, she is now.
Yep.
She has to be.
I didn't know if she was or not because I know Denise.
I think she'd only been to races a couple times before that.
Yeah.
She's going with me quite a bit now. Hey, I did better than I thought I would.
There you go. See, that's pretty good. That looks like a sprint car. Got a wing on it and everything.
Yes, it does.
Make sure you autograph that for me if you would. I appreciate it. We're really looking forward to watching these Legends races.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking so forward to the Legends night. I think this is a great deal.
You're going to have a lot of us 410 drivers now down there asking for autographs and that kind of stuff. We've all been talking about it, and we're really looking forward to it.
I think it's going to be a big night. I've heard so many people talking about this deal. I'm just grateful for it.
It's Farmer's baby. He talked about it last year, and
I'll tell you what, this in here, I think he's hit a home run on.
He's super, super excited about it.
Well, I can't believe the crowd we had the first night.
Yeah.
If we
Can
could
you
only
believe that
have
crowd
that
this year?
every Saturday night.
Oh, that's unbelievable. That was a nice crowd the first
That
night.
was an awesome crowd.
It was pretty good for the cold that we had this last Saturday, too. You know?
Yeah, I didn't think it was bad for the cold.
Yeah. So, I want to thank you for coming in. I think what we'll do is we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll figure out some way to close this show. I think we did all the highlights and stuff. So, Joe, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
We'll go to break and we'll see you here back in a minute.
Since I was born, I dreamed of being a Budweiser Clydesdale. Only problem is, I was born a donkey. So all my life, I practiced the Clydesdale walk and the Clydesdale pull. I even tried hair extensions on my lower legs. And then came my big interview. They looked me in the eye and said, "What makes you think you can be a Clydesdale, son?" And what was my answer? I must have said something right.
I'm telling you, it's our year, Ron. Oh, look, it's Mr. NASCAR.
Still have your know-how, huh?
Yep. That's why Ron has more than 35 NHRA wins. Well, Martin has 2 NASCAR Nationwide Championships. Whatever. You're ugly. You want to step outside?
Sweep the leg.
We don't have legs.
Never mind.
Hey, welcome back to the last lap. Apparently, at the beginning of the show, I called myself Shelly Liskai. I'm not really sure. We're talking about how we really want this deal to be laid back and relaxed and no big deal. But as soon as we come back from commercial,
It's
I'm like
Steven going,
setting up in the seat.
8 seconds.
Yeah, right. Steven's like 5 seconds. We're coming back now. That's the second one. And I don't know what it is. It makes me nervous. I'm popping up in the seat. I'm ready to go again. And now I found out I called myself Shelly Liskai.
How's that feel?
I haven't called myself Brian Liskai.
And I haven't called you Brian
Right.
Liskai.
So we haven't made that mistake, and that was one of the things I was so afraid I was going to say at the beginning. That I'm
I
Brian
didn't
Liskai.
show you this, but the first night on my notes, I had Brian Smith underlined at the top because I'm so used to saying Brian Liskai.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
it was just a fear that I was going to say Brian Liskai.
I finally got your name down.
You
For
did?
whatever reason,
And
I
now
look
you
at you and
think
I
you're
forget
me.
your name. I knew it.
How's
So,
that feel?
I don't know. I'm a nervous wreck right now, and the 6 car is driving me nuts. All right, we need to talk a little bit about what's going to happen at Fremont Speedway this coming week. It's the Fan Zone night.
Yep.
So explain that to us so that they know
Fan
what's going
Zone
on.
really is just your families, friends come out, make posters. We had posters and signs and Stuart Brubaker on a stick and just whatever you can do to promote
So,
your
like the Fourth Turn Freaks down there.
the Fourth Turn
If
Freaks.
they're all wearing yellow shirts, that would be a good night to wear all their yellow shirts if you're watching. John, get on your guys to wear all their yellow shirts. But say all those people were Keith Sorg fans.
Yep.
They would all get their Keith Sorg shirts on, and then is there a deal
There-
where you have them cheer? Or
Yeah, we the crowd cheers for them. We get them on the front stretch, and we'll do a
so you just pick out, you go in, Lindy goes up and picks out the
anybody
groups?
who comes in a group or
Oh, okay, all right.
It could be Kim and the girls.
Okay.
And they're the Brian Smith Fan Zone.
Right.
And we line them up on the front stretch, and then we do a this one, this one, this one,
All right.
and we let the crowd pick. We don't personally pick.
And last year, Paige Poliak?
Paige did win last year.
So she won't be the champion this year
She
because
will
she's
not
not
be.
racing.
No.
So maybe Stewart's family can get back out there.
Yep.
But I gotta have some fans out there. Maybe Joe Keegan will go out there and wear my shirt.
Giving
again
away
next week.
10 general admission tickets to be used throughout whenever they
For the
want
group?
for that group.
It's a great deal. It's a good way
Yeah.
to show your support. For
It's
the,
a lot of fun too. I always look forward to that one and the throwback T-shirt night. And last year we messed up and did throwback T-shirt like on opening night or something, so everybody had coats on over it.
Right.
So I didn't get to see them. And I have a really cool Jack Hewitt throwback shirt that I was gonna bring out of retirement. So hopefully this year it's warmer.
Is it black? Because I know she wore a black shirt all the time.
I do. I wear black. It's not. It's white.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So next week, make sure you come out. Tell all your friends to come out. Make sure you wear your favorite drivers' T-shirts. Get together a group. Come out and cheer in a big pile, and maybe you can win some more general admission tickets.
It's a lot of fun. You get to get on the front stretch.
Right, and that's always good. Trust
It
me,
is.
it's always good to be on the front straightaway. And I gotta mention to everybody that is listening, please share this on your Facebooks, on your Twitters, on wherever you can. Tell your friends, get this out so that more
Comments
people
are
watch the
welcome.
show. Comments, anything you want us to do, please
you'd
make
like to
mention.
see, yeah.
People you'd like to see, questions you want to ask, that kind of thing.
I had thrown out there a couple weeks ago, have questions sent in to me, but I kept getting the same 3 or 4 people, and
Right. We need more people.
Yeah.
We know you're out there watching. I mean, there's 100 people at least out there watching. Now I'm begging for more viewers. So, Stephen, get on there and beg for more viewers. We want to keep this deal going so that we can keep talking to these drivers, talking to the legends.
Yeah.
We'll have them on after this race. And
Joe was fun.
Be able to. We'll should have as many as we can on afterwards
Yeah.
to talk about their experience.
Definitely.
And that kind of stuff. So, thanks again for watching. Next week, Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. Shelly Liskai, Brian Smith, The Last Lap Live. We'll see you then.